My mother always believed in doing the right thing. She was the kind of person who would always put others before herself, always thinking about the greater good. Her laughter was infectious, and her wisdom was a guiding light in our lives. When they said the vaccine was safe, she trusted them. She believed in science and the advancements of modern medicine. She thought about the community, about protecting the vulnerable, and about doing her part to end the pandemic. She got vaccinated, hoping to protect herself and our family. We were all so proud of her, and she was proud of herself too. She felt a sense of relief, a sense of accomplishment, thinking she had done something important for all of us. But things didn't go as planned. She fell ill. Doctors were baffled. They ran test after test, trying to understand what went wrong. We watched helplessly as her condition deteriorated, feeling a mix of confusion and fear. We prayed, hoping for a miracle. We gathered around her bed, holding hands, whispering prayers and lighting candles. We clung to hope, believing that somehow she would pull through, but the miracle never came. She suffered a massive stroke, leaving her unable to speak or move. We were left to grapple with the reality of her condition, her vibrant spirit now trapped in a body that could no longer respond. The pain was unbearable. Anger consumed me. I couldn't understand why this had happened to her, to us. The grief was a heavy burden, one that seemed impossible to bear. I raged at the world, at the doctors, at God. How could this happen? How could something meant to protect her lead to such tragedy? My heart was filled with questions, with a burning need for answers that never came. How could a loving God allow such suffering? The stormy skies mirrored the turmoil within me. I looked up, questioning the heavens, seeking some form of understanding, some semblance of peace. My faith, once unwavering, crumbled under the weight of my grief. The church, once a place of solace, now felt empty and cold. The broken cross symbolized my shattered beliefs, my lost sense of purpose. I felt lost, adrift in a sea of doubt and despair. The world seemed darker, the future uncertain. I walked alone, trying to find my way, trying to make sense of a life without her vibrant laughter. The journey was long, and the path was unclear, but I held on to the hope that one day I would find peace. The world seemed darker with my mother's new reality. Her laughter, her love, her unwavering faith all gone. I couldn't understand why she had to suffer. Why her? Why us? My prayers felt empty, lost in the vast emptiness that had become my life. Doubt gnawed at my soul. I questioned everything I had ever believed. Was there really a God? And if so, where was he in my pain? The world felt cold and indifferent. My faith, once a source of strength and comfort, now felt like a cruel joke. One evening, as I walked through the quiet park, the cool breeze brushing against my face, I felt a sense of loneliness that seemed to echo through the empty pathways. I bumped into an old friend, Jimmy. It was a surprise, a jolt out of my solitary thoughts. We hadn't spoken in years, and seeing him brought back a flood of memories from our younger days. He looked different, thinner, his eyes clouded with a familiar pain that I recognized all too well. He was battling lost faith, his life spiraling out of control, and it was evident in every weary line on his face. In that moment, seeing his pain, I realized I wasn't alone in my suffering. We were both fighting our own demons. We talked for a few minutes, sharing our stories, our pain, our doubts. It was a cathartic release, a moment of raw honesty that we both needed. He mentioned that he wanted to become closer with God, seeking a path to reconnect with his faith. I invited him to my church, suggesting that he might find the support and community he was looking for. He hesitated, his heart heavy with doubt. The idea of opening up to strangers was daunting, but something in my voice, a flicker of hope in my eyes, convinced him to give it a try. Maybe, just maybe, this was the lifeline he needed. The next day, we found ourselves walking towards the church, our steps slow and uncertain. The building loomed ahead, a beacon of hope and fear. As we entered, we were greeted by warm smiles and open arms. The sense of community was palpable, and for the first time in a long while, we felt a glimmer of hope. We shared our stories, our struggles, and our fears. The support and understanding we received were overwhelming. During worship, I saw an angel. It was a moment of divine intervention that filled me with hope and peace. As Jimmy and I left the church that morning, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. We were not alone. We had each other and a community that cared. That night, I realized that sometimes a familiar face and a cry for help can be the first steps towards healing and hope. The vision of an angel was a turning point. It was as if the angel was reaching out to me from beyond, offering a sense of comfort and guidance that I desperately needed. The angel's presence in that vision was so vivid, so real, that it felt like it was right there beside me, holding my hand and whispering words of encouragement. It didn't erase my pain or answer all my questions, but it filled me with a renewed sense of hope. This hope was not just a fleeting emotion, it was a profound shift in my perspective. I began to see my struggles not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. The vision of the angel became a beacon of light in my darkest moments, reminding me that I was not alone. I started going back to church, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to reconnect with my faith and find solace in God's love. The church, with its serene atmosphere and sense of community, became a sanctuary for my troubled soul. Each step I took towards the altar felt like a step towards healing and wholeness. Each visit brought me a sense of peace and belonging. The quiet moments of reflection, the soft glow of the candles, and the gentle hum of the prayers created a space where I could breathe and just be. It was in these moments that I felt a deep connection to something greater than myself, a divine presence that embraced me with unconditional love. I found comfort in the songs of worship, strength in the sermons, and a renewed sense of purpose in the teachings. The words of the songs resonated with my soul, lifting my spirits and filling my heart with joy. The sermons, with their messages of hope and resilience, gave me the strength to face each day with courage and determination, and solace in the company of fellow believers. The community of the church welcomed me with open arms, offering support and understanding. Their kindness and compassion reminded me that I was part of a larger family, a family that stood by me through thick and thin. I realized that faith wasn't about avoiding pain or escaping suffering, but about finding meaning and purpose in the midst of it. It was about embracing the journey, with all its ups and downs, and trusting that there was a greater plan at work. This realization brought me a profound sense of peace, knowing that I was exactly where I needed to be, and that I was never truly alone. The church community embraced me with open arms. They listened without judgment, offered support without conditions, and loved me without reservation. They became my extended family, a source of strength and encouragement as I navigated the challenges of life. Through their kindness and compassion, I began to understand the true meaning of community. It wasn't about agreeing on everything or pretending that life was perfect. It was about being there for each other, sharing each other's burdens, and celebrating each other's triumphs. Forgiveness, I learned, was not about condoning wrongdoings or forgetting them entirely, but about releasing the bitterness and anger that poisoned the soul and weighed me down. It was about choosing to move forward, not with naive optimism, but with courageous hope and strength. I began to let go of the anger I had harbored towards the doctors, the hospital, even God. I forgave them all, not because they deserved it, but because I deserved to be free from the shackles of resentment and pain. Forgiveness, I discovered, was ultimately a gift I gave myself, a gift of peace. My journey back to faith wasn't easy. It was a path paved with pain, doubt, and uncertainty. But it was a journey that led me back to myself, to a place of peace, hope, and love. I rediscovered the power of faith, not as a crutch or an escape, but as a source of strength, resilience, and unwavering hope. My faith didn't provide all the answers, but it gave me the courage to keep asking the questions, to keep searching, to keep believing. I learned that faith wasn't about avoiding the storms of life, but about learning to dance in the rain.